a bad time to lose footing. Good morning, everybody. Sorry to bring you into my wake up face after those pretty scenes from 2020. But this video is going to be about some of the best images I got in 2020. This is going to have 7 images in this one and 7 images in a video in about a week or so. I'm going to kind of go over what makes them my favorite. Some of them are the compositional aspect of it, and others is just actually the story behind the photo, which is often something you guys don't get. But with the videos that we started here with Appalachian Apertures, that's kind of what it's about, is kind of showing you the process, the story behind it. It just brings a little bit more into the photo. But yeah, we'll get into it, and I hope you like it. And again, thanks for watching, and appreciate the support everybody gave us in 2020. But yeah, let's get started with this, and thank you. This first image is from February of 2020. It was the first really good snow of the year. The snow was coming straight down. There was no wind, so these big fluffy flakes were just, just softly falling from the sky, and that's what made this snow for me. And I was out driving around and came across this pasture, and this one lone cow was hanging out by himself. And I noticed the rest of the herd is in the very back right part of the image. So I immediately stopped and got out and got a telephoto lens. I think I was probably around 80 mil here probably. And the cow was facing to the right, so I put him on the left side of the image. And I was able to separate those, like some of the trees in the mid-ground. The ones on the left, you see, and what I'm talking about, the ones you see on the left, you can kind of see the whole outline of the tree. So it creates depth there. Now, if you go to the the 2 trees on the right, all the way on the right, you can see that they get lost in the background. So it just flattens that image right there. But when you can separate them against the snow or just in contrast, it really creates depth in your image. So I also just opened up my aperture here and focused on the cow. Depth of field was not an issue because with it snowing so hard, the trees in the background and all that's going to be soft anyway. So just that extra loss of focus kind of adds to that. I really was happy with this image. It made my calendar this year for 2021 for January. And yeah, I really like this image. Image number 2 is from that same day. This was in the afternoon. My family, the roads were pretty good by then. And my family and I went out to eat. And on the way back, the sky started getting just so pretty. These pastel colors. It was like these yellows and oranges and purples. And we had this fog kind of rolling through. And it was just so pretty. And I was fortunate to have my camera with me. And on the way back, there's this barn that is probably my favorite barn in the whole world. I know the family, and they're nice enough to let me go shoot it. And but the colors were just so pretty. The fog I got lucky with because it separates, again, as I was talking before about separating to create depth. That fog behind those mid trees just gives them separation from the background, because without that, those would just fall right in with that mountain in the distance. And it also gives the mountain in the very back right, it sets it back into the frame. The clouds were nice. It just had enough to kind of not leave an empty, bland sky. But the purples and the oranges in the images was just so pretty. I like the old corn from the season before, just barely hanging on. But yeah, this was a memorable night, and it was just beautiful. Image number 3 is of Sunrise Grocery. Sunrise has been my store for about 23 years now. It's been in my family since 1983. And there's so many things I like about this image. I was coming home from work and noticed the sky getting pretty, so I got home and grabbed my gear and come down into the yard, and the dogwood tree there in the right is in full bloom. Got some nice little wildflowers there, the purple, the big massive poplar that's on the property here. It is just so big. And got the old truck out front. That's Coosa Bald, which is part of my favorite ridge in Georgia, from Blood Mountain to Coosa. So the Coke sign there, the old Coke sign with my family name on it, is leaned over to the left. There's so many things I like about this image, and what I like most about it is just it's not the photograph. It's just it's just been a part of my life for so long, and but I really like this image. Perhaps the best story of the bunch, and is actually why this photograph is called Stories. Jessica and I were in Cades Cove watching a sunset, and it was a beautiful sunset, and we kind of watched the whole duration of it, waited to the sun to kind of go way down. There was just a bunch of leftover color as the sun went down. So on the way out of the cove, we were driving along, and I kind of told her, I was like, I've always wanted to put a little lamp in one of these cabins and give the sense of someone being there. And so she was like, she thought it was a pretty good idea. So we kept on going, and we got to this cabin here. And so I pulled in and got out my gear and set up my tripod, and got the lamp out of my bag, and asked Jessica to go put the lamp in the cabin, while I stayed back and got focus and exposure. It sounds like a jerk thing to, now that I say it out loud, and it wasn't at the time. And so she was going there, and she started getting a little slower and slower. Then she brought up the fact that she had seen bats in here before. So, but she sucked it up, and she marched in, and it took her about 10 minutes to get from the door to the window. And soon as the light got into the window, a scream that Cades Cove has never heard echoed through the valley. She came running out, so I was kind of worried. So I was kind of making my way there, and she was smacking her hair, and then I could actually see with the ambient light from above. It wasn't total darkness yet. It was inside the canopy of the trees, but above the cabin was all open, so that bluish glow from the blue hour was coming in on the cabin, so it was actually really making the image. But I could see all these bats flying around in the canopy, and she then informed me that I could go get my lamp if I wanted it. But she was a great sport about it, and so I ended up going into the cabin, and now that she had removed the bats from it and propped the lamp up into the window, and she actually pressed the shutter here. But anyway, I love the photo, I love the story, and it's one of my favorites from the year. Here's image number 5. This is not one of my favorite images from the year, but I do love the day behind it. there's some elements for this photograph. It's obviously, we had some pretty good light that morning. All the moss covered rocks, the water flow is really pretty. There's a few triangles in this image. In the very bottom, where the rock comes in from the left and the rocks come in from the right, kind of point to the center of the image. The big stone slab on the right kind of creates a triangle that, uses the moss covered on the left side of the stream. There's a triangle at the very top of the image above the main waterfall. Then also there's another triangle that's just below that, coming in from the top. So I think that's one of those things with subconscious, your mind likes it. You don't know why. It's a pretty scene, but a lot of times it's about lines and how things are set up in the image. It also helps. But what I really like about this image is it's the Chattahoochee River. When you ask most people from Georgia about the Chattahoochee River, they think of this massive, wide river that supplies a lot of the state with water, fly fishing, kayaking, just a lot of things come to your mind before a little stream that trickles out of the southeast corner of Union County. Apart just below the main waterfall here, the Chattahoochee River is maybe 2 foot wide, if that. So that's what made this image for me. It was just so neat and fascinating, and but just to sit and photograph it was really special. A buddy of mine, Brian Solomon, nice guy, and he's a mountain goat, and he's taken me to some really nice places. But yeah, I really liked this image, and the day was pretty awesome. Image number 6 was one of those times you just looked up and literally said, wow, out loud. It was just one of the prettiest things that I'd ever seen. Jessica and I made the steep descent into this waterfall. It's very, very difficult. We were up visiting my brother, and I'd seen photos of this waterfall for probably 2 years and never really could pinpoint where it was at. Photographers are no different than fishermen. If they catch a big trout, they're not going to go tell you what hole they caught it from. So photographers are no different. If we find a space that's really kind of not so popular yet, and quiet and free from litter, and we try to hold on to them and keep them in our back pocket. But this was so pretty. There was so many elements here. It was kind of raining, which made the walk, basically we had to use ropes and stuff to get in there. But so it made that even more difficult. But with it being a high elevation waterfall, we had all the clouds, which was moving in. We had a beautiful Mount Laurel in the top left, which you can barely make out because of the fog. The water flow kind of comes down into the bottom left and comes into the image in the top right, and just spills over in all these different spots with these little veils, with the main veil kind of down the center of the image. Got the nice moss colored rock on the right with some different little textures in it. But yeah, this image was really pretty. We just sat there. It was raining so hard, I didn't get very many images because my lens kept on getting, just mist and water on it. But yep, definitely one I'll be revisiting, and might be my favorite image of the whole year. Here is image number 7 from Raven Cliffs Wilderness. This hike is one of the prettiest in the state. You hike up along the little creek there the whole way into the main waterfall. I do like the little texture in the bottom left there, that the little growth, whatever it is, growing out of the moss. I like the little rocks that's into the creek leading to the main waterfall, and the little bitty one that's kind of in the reflected light of the waterfall. The water, how it tumbles down, and it's got little veils off to the side of each little rock. There's a little stream coming down on each side of the fall that really adds to it. But my favorite thing to this about this image is this is our first workshop that we did as Appalachian Apertures. Chris and I had started Appalachian Apertures in 2020. Set up some workshops, set up a YouTube channel, and both is done, you know, beyond our expectations. We just kind of went with the flow of it. We're really psyched about the 2021. We got some multiple workshops planned out. We got big plans for the YouTube videos. We're kind of getting our feel with them. I know I got a long ways to go with the videos. I'm trying to find my little niche and how I want them done. So I'm going to be kind of flipping back and forth, trying to find out what style I like. But anyway, I appreciate you watching this video. And again, I'm going to be doing about 7 more images in the next upcoming video in about a week. But I appreciate your support of Appalachian Apertures. If you do like what you see, like the video and subscribe to our channel. It really helps how YouTube does their algorithms and stuff, and it really helps us, helps the channel. But again, thanks for watching, and you guys take care.